Okay, let's learn some more about how the IDE works. We will be using it in one of three operational modes. The first is edit mode. In this mode, no procedures are running, and this is the state the IDE usually loads in. Edit mode is not an official Microsoft term, but since it doesn't have one and we need a name, edit mode it is. You can freely edit code in this mode, and since no procedures are running, it is unlikely that any procedure variables will be stored in memory, so those data cannot be examined or manipulated in this mode. As an aside, if you're familiar with design mode in Excel, this feature is not exactly the same as edit mode, but since the differences don't really matter for how we use the IDE, assume that everything I say about edit mode applies to design mode as well. When the IDE is automatically executing a procedure, it is in run mode. You will be unable to make manual changes to the code or procedure variables, and you won't be able to interact with the contents in Excel's main window unless this is specifically allowed for by the instructions provided in your procedure code. Third is break mode. In this mode, you can intervene and make certain changes to the code midway through the run without resetting the entire procedure, and you will be able to query and manipulate procedure-level variables being used by the active procedures. So let's summarize these three modes in a diagram, and now explore how we switch from one mode to another. Let's see how we enter run mode from edit or design mode. We already did this earlier when we keyed in F5 after typing up our code. You get the same outcome by pressing this play key in the main menu of the IDE. As shown earlier, the sub which executes is set by the position of our text cursor. If you are outside a sub or outside the coding window altogether, when you key F5, you'll be provided with a menu listing all the subs you can choose to run. You select one by highlighting it, then clicking the Run button at the top. To return to edit mode after a procedure begins to run but before it completes, hit the Escape key until the pop-up dialog window appears. Then click the button labeled End. To enter break mode from the middle of a procedure run, like before, just press Escape until the pop-up window appears, but this time click on the option labeled Debug. When you enter break mode, you'll see this strong yellow highlight and an arrow indicator pointing to a particular line of code. This line is the next line to be executed by the procedure. In other words, it has not been executed yet. By pressing F8 successively, you run the code line by line and have complete control of when each line is read. If you enter break mode by interrupting a run, however, it will basically be pot luck which line you end up stopping at. You can also enter break mode after an error prompt. Let's create an error in our Hello World sub. Why is this a problem? Well, we have defined our message as a string and we are trying to add a number to it, which doesn't make sense. What is a plus 1, for example? If we hit F5 now, we're then given a typical error message and we're given a pop-up window. The continue option is now grayed out since we cannot continue any further, and we can either end and return to design mode or debug and enter break mode from here. Next up is how to enter break mode from a specific point in your code. If you know the place where you want to start examining your code in detail, you can place a breakpoint in your code by hitting the F9 key when your text cursor is on that line. This allows you to start running your procedure in the normal way at light speed, but as soon as the application reaches the line you've marked with a breakpoint, it will automatically exit run mode and enter break mode. You can imagine how useful that's going to be when you have longer procedures to debug. Breakpoints remain in your code until they are manually removed. To do this, hit F9 again on the same line to remove the breakpoint. If you've forgotten where you've put all your breakpoints or you know you want to get rid of them all at once, use Ctrl-Shift plus F9 to clear all of them instantly. Note that breakpoints only remain for the work session until the file is closed. When it's reopened, they will not be there anymore. You can also start the procedure off in break mode from the very start. To do this, make sure your cursor is in the working area of the sub you want to step through, then key F8. This is known as stepping into a procedure. If you key F5 while outside of any particular sub, you can also click into the Step Into button to begin running a sub in this mode. You can also return to run mode from break mode once you've finished the alterations you want to make, just by keying the F5 key or clicking the play icon as before. To stop a procedure run and return to the edit mode while you're in break mode, you can either click the Stop button icon on the main menu bar, or you can key in the shortcut sequence Alt+R+R. Okay, that covers the automatic and manual ways in which you'll move from one mode to another. Let's summarize that information on a diagram, which you can download with the materials provided for this lecture.